Hail and well met. I am Mr. Eager DM at your service, and we welcome you one and all to Trapped at Home, a live stream Dungeons and Dragons broadcast presented by Lawful Stupid RPG. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. Friends, tonight we bring you the final session of Descendants of Avernus. Several months ago, two of our players had a baby and became unavailable to play their characters in our Descent into Avernus game, and rather than bring in other players to take their place, we decided to do a little backtracking and play through some of the backstory history of one of our newer players, Zelmyra. This, what you have seen here, Descendants of Avernus, has been that story, detailing how she came to be in Avernus and the friends she lost along the way. Now, there are only two. I present you our players tonight, Zelmyra the Monk and her twin brother, Artemis the Artificer. My friends, it is time. I extend my hand, inviting you to step with me into fantasy. Release your hold on that which you know to be true, and let imagination rule for the next few hours. Last time, the adventurers, still reeling from the loss of two of their companions, tried to come to grips with their new circumstances. The plains of Avernus, the first level of the Nine Hells, stretched out before them. Their only guide, a strangely upbeat yet morally corrupt fey creature known as Smiler the Defiler. At his suggestion, they made their way to a place called the Spawning Trees. There, they fought several bearded devils, including one who came very close to slaying Jexter the Bard, indeed, severing his hand with a terrible blow. Victorious, the adventurers collected many soul coins, currency unfamiliar to them, but apparently vital if they wished to escape back to the prime material plane. They then traveled to a place known as the Wandering Emporium, a collection of mighty machines pooled into a ring, inside which could be found many bizarre shops, tents, menageries, and mongrels. However, after stepping into one tent called Infernal Rapture, they were transported to a beautiful restaurant and spa, and promised whatever they desired, for a price, of course. It was in this place they met Mahadi, a gracious host who offered to send two of their number back to the prime material plane in exchange for a pledge of 100 days of service from the other two. It was decided that Zelmyra and her twin brother Artemis would remain behind, while the elderly Boletus and badly wounded Jexter would be sent home. We now rejoin the twins several weeks later. Artemis.
Actually, it's just Artem.
Artem.
Artie for short.
That's right.
Artemis. Where did I get Artemis?
Well, that is where the name is derived from. So here's a little fun fact about the name origin. So Zelmyra is an Italian name that means the moon, or the sun, rather, excuse me. And so when I was coming up with Artem as a character, he sees himself as the lesser twin, and I picked Artem as a male derivative of Artemis because he is reflecting his sister's light.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's fun little.
Beautiful.
Artem, then. You have been working in what is known as Mahadi's magic shop for the last several weeks. You have not seen Zelmyra during all this time, although you have free reign of the Emporium. You are smart enough to know that if you were to leave, you would not last very long. And you're also rarely have the energy to do anything other than take a step or two out, because you are constantly working and being watched as you work by a very large, gray-skinned, about 12 feet tall creature, bald, with tusks, carries a large club, and there's a lower level to this magic shop. The top level is where the customers come, and it is filled with a large number of exotic things. Although you know that the more impressive things are kept under lock and key, and only Agamemnia has access to them. But you've been to the upper floor, and there is a large blue dragon's head mounted on the wall that likes to play games. Occasionally, you play games with it to pass the time. But usually, as I said, you are working, slaving away, attempting to create the item that Mahadi has commissioned you to for your 100 days of service. You are in a small, windowless room, has workbenches and tables, and anything you need as you are following the instructions to make um, the item that you are making, which is an amulet of health. You have read ahead in the book and discovered that this item, if you are successful in creating it, it will allow whoever wears it to be much more hale and hearty than they normally are. But it is a long process, and as I said, you are constantly watched. There's a hallway outside. You can, while you're working, you're not watched, but to step out, you immediately are in the hallway, and you are guarded and watched by this large creature, whose name is Grigas.
Rigas. All right. So having given his hand to Jexter before he departed, he has since created a much more bare bones device. It doesn't have all of the bells and whistles that the one that he gave to Jexter does, but it has 5 digits, and it operates like a normal hand. And he's also repaired Homunky Jade. She is looking very battered and beaten up and a little battle worn, but she's operating fine, and I imagine she would probably bring Artem things as he is slaving at his desk.
All right. One day as you're working, Agamemnia steps in. Very tall, beautiful, but a very cruel looking face, with a high collar. She stands observing everything you're doing. I must say, this is not my usual area of expertise. You seem to be using very little of the weave. How are you accomplishing this?
I don't tap into magic that way. Huh. I'm a machine artist.
Machines. Like those horrible infernal things that they...
No, not like that. It still uses the magic of the weave, but it just harnesses it in a way that makes more sense to my brain. It still accomplishes the same thing. I could explain it to you if you want.
No, that is quite all right. It is vulgar and pathetic, really. However, you do seem to be making progress, and that is what is important to Mahadi. So, I will be away for a few days. Is there anything that you will need between now and then? Anything beyond what is mundane and easily obtained?
I'd really like to see my sister.
Is it necessary for you to complete your task?
Kinda,
I do not think
yeah.
so. No, of course not. If there's any material components, things that are difficult to get, any things that you would need from my private stores.
I could use some raw silver to smelt. I could, yeah, just that.
Silver is not nearly exotic enough. If that is all you need, then you will have no need of me. She turns to leave.
Gregos? Gregos?
Yeah?
I've been in here a really long time. I was wondering if I could maybe take a walk? Clear my head?
Well, that's in the rules, that's fine. But, I mean, you need to keep working.
Yeah. I just, science says if you don't take breaks, you can't work as effectively.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, I guess we're going for a walk.
Oh, you don't have to come with me. I can.
Well, no, I really do.
Oh. Okay. Well, let's go then.
All right. He lumbers around behind you. Slow, but incredibly strong, and not a great conversationalist, but not stupid either.
So I've explored pretty much all there is to explore in the magic shop.
There is one room that you have not been allowed to go in. Agamemnia has expressly forbidden it. It is part of this hallway that you are currently on, and is at the end of the hall. And you've been told not to even approach the door. Grigas is always present. He doesn't seem to sleep.
Grigas, what's behind that door?
It's the tempo room.
What does it make music back there?
No.
What does that mean?
Well, you're not supposed to go back there.
It
Stands the reason that you're not supposed to know what it does either.
Well, it's just professional curiosity. I mean, I'm
You should probably not have that.
Oh. Okay. I could really go for a really hot cup of jasmine tea. Would you mind getting it for me, or sending someone for it?
You can ask one of the floaty servants for that.
Floaty servants. Okay. And I'm just gonna duck away to the little tiefling's room if I can.
I'll come along.
Okay.
He starts following it. As he does, all of a sudden there is a very large puff of purple and sparkly sparkles that just go over his face. He's just wow. Hey. I feel great.
You should probably go take a nap. That's what I always do when I feel great.
Well, I'm not supposed to take a nap, but I want to just stay right here. And you hear a voice.
I have been trying to find the opportunity to do that for so long. I say we beat it, boss.
I don't know if I can leave.
What's stopping you?
Hell?
Well, it's bad out there, that's for sure, but, I mean, don't you want to get, I don't know. It's up to you. I've had enough of this place, but I feel like my best option getting away is probably you. So,
I do want to leave. I think if I were to just run in and try to grab Zelly and go, I think we need a better plan than that Ashen Bomb.
I'm Ashen Mall. Common mistake, no problem. Ashen
Ball.
Bond is actually with your sister, but well, hold on a second.
And you still can't see, but again, there's another cloud of this purplish substance sort of sprays over Grigas, and he's, yeah, I haven't felt this good in a long time. Oh, yeah, whatever that is, just keep it coming. Oh, man. Oh, he just sort of leans against the wall, and drool begins to sort of pour from his mouth. He's just like, oh, yeah.
I mean, I could keep him distracted like this for a long time. I have been waiting because I mean that weird woman with the collars, she's got all kinds of things up.
Yeah.
Now that she's gone,
Do me a favor.
Yeah?
I'm gonna sneak into that tempo room, and I'm if he comes to, or if you're not able to keep him in that state, come find me really quickly, okay?
Yeah, all right. Where's the tempo room?
And I point down to the end of the hallway.
Okay. You want a little before?
Oh no, I think I should keep my head.
I just keep asking. I mean, look how much fun he's having.
Maybe another time.
All right, suit yourself.
I'm gonna sneak into the tempo room.
All right, well, there's no sneaking needed. Grigas is completely befuddled and happy. However, as you reach the door, it does appear to be locked.
I will use my lock-picking tools. I don't know if you want to impose a penalty on what normally is the case, because I gave my hand away, but I did recreate a more simple one.
I would assume that you put most of the same
Most of the
tools-
stuff back, yeah.
I mean, even if I would say, even if you didn't put the tool into the hand, you would still have tools that you could use.
Okay.
So,
All right. Kraken dice is 11 plus 9, a dirty 20.
the dirty 20 is enough, and there's a click, and the door handle turns, and you open it, and there is a white sort of swirling mist. Reminds you a little bit of the astral sea.
Oh. What else do I see?
Nothing, just that.
Can I do an investigation check?
Sure.
6 plus 8 is 14.
14. You don't get the sense of forbidding emptiness and just oblivion that you get when looking out into the astral sea. This appears to be more of something in place to obfuscate this door.
What? Wait, say that again. It's
This
so
this
like
appears to
walk
be-
through it.
Like there's this sort of a screen of opacity that is blocking the door that you're about to walk through from sight.
Oh, all right. Then I will step forward.
All right. So as you step forward, immediately the scene changes, and you
Okay.
you pop into a room about 20 by 20 feet. It is well lit, although you do not see a source from the light. There is a door on the far side, and there are tables and shelves. It is an empty room, but it is very clean. It appears to be a workroom or a study room or just a room, whatever you'd want to do. Near the door, there is a large red dial that has a little arrow sticking out of one end of it. And as you step further into the room and look back, you see that there is behind you the wall appears to be completely intact. There is no sign of the door.
Okay. I'm gonna take a look at the dial.
Okay.
Is that a separate check?
Well, it is definitely a dial. You've seen enough dials to know a dial. You see what maybe somebody else would have had to. What is this strange protrusion that is circular and it seems to have something that can spin?
Is there anything written on it? Are there
There is nothing
indicators?
written on it. No.
Oh. Do I see anybody there?
There is nobody there. There is a little portal in the window, in the door. However, you can see out of it.
Okay. What do I see out of the portal?
From what you can see, there appears to be a vast library on the other side of this door.
Oh,
And
I like.
when I say
libraries.
vast, I mean quite large. You've already experienced a bit of the fact that available space does not necessarily mean anything here in the Wandering Emporium, having been in several tents that appear to have contained within them vast buildings, which themselves contain large buildings. In this, where you were before, the magic shop, that was all a small tent right at the front of the Wandering Emporium. Stepping in, completely different, of course. So this library does not confine to any sense of the space that you would expect could be confined in a tent. You get a little bit of a sense, looking back, that it's a long hall that appears to have just scores and scores of bookshelves going down past where you can see. And they are very tall, about 30 feet tall apiece.
What happens if I turn the dial a little bit?
Sure. Which way are you going to turn it?
I assume my options are left and right.
Here you are.
I'll turn it to the right.
You turn it to the right, and as you do, the red, it's a very bright sort of fire engine red. It begins to darken a bit.
And no other changes?
That is, do that. That's all that. Nothing seems to happen in the room.
Huh. What if I were to look? Can I look outside the door back into the hallway?
Sure, make an investigation check.
All right. That is a 12 plus 8, another dirty 20.
All right. As you're looking out the door, you see people moving around, and you see an enormous creature you assume to be a devil. It is large, but the skin on its body is pulled very taut against its skeletal frame to the point that it actually looks to just be a humongous skeletal devil. And it's walking, and as it walks, it's moving quite quickly, much faster than you would have expected something that size to move. And as you are watching with a dirty 20, you notice that not only you see people walking next to it and gesturing and speaking, and it gestures off in a direction, and you see two people walk away from it, moving at a much faster speed, almost like they're just sort of like their legs moving very, very quickly as they sort of just glide across the floor.
I'm going to turn the dial significantly in the other direction.
So as you turn in the other direction, the color goes back to fire engine red and then begins to lighten, becoming a little bit more of a lighter red. And you look out the window and you see that same devilish creature walking, but this time moving very slowly. You kind of got a sense for the way it moved, watching it move quickly, and now as it walks by, it seems to be moving almost as if it's moving through some sort of gelatin or something. The very air is resisting it as it moves. And it slowly walks past, stops for a moment and looks towards the door, and then its eyes go up to look at something that you can't see that's above the door, and then looks back down and passes on without another look.
Artem's eyes get really wide, and he smiles to himself, and he's a tempo room, and he'll turn the dial back to neutral, and he will sneak out to where his little room is, and he will gather a bunch of supplies, and he will take it into the library and turn it all the way down, not all the way, but significantly down to slow the outside, and buy him some time. He's going to work on an amulet of health for Zelmyra.
Okay. As you are beginning this and you step into it, when you step out again, you immediately feel a profound sense of exhaustion. And you realize that although there is benefit to be had by using this room, there appears to be a cost. You are at one level of exhaustion, and you will be at one level of exhaustion every time you use this room for a period of longer than an hour in the real world.
Okay, So I was out. I was in the room for more than an hour in the real world.
Depends on how far you want to click it down.
Okay.
How many? I guess how many hours do you wish to gain by being in the tempo room? Is the question.
How long would it take for me to create an additional amulet? Do you think, based on what it is that I've created, if Agamemnon is going to be gone for a few days, how much work could I get done realistically without killing myself?
Well, you couldn't complete it without killing yourself. And although you do gain time, it's still you up and you working.
Right.
So you have the ability to make one.
Okay.
But if you want to make one in secret, you might have the option of doing that here. But you will still have to work on one in the other
in the light
right.
yeah. Okay.
And that's going to take as much time as it would normally take. So like
right.
It's you still have you would be hard pressed to make it in 100 days if you were just doing it
Gotcha.
in that workshop. You want to do another one here, it's going to take a very significant toll upon you. But you will potentially be able to make another one using the tempo room, but you will not be able to complete the one that you're making for Mahadi.
Okay. So then I'm going to make one for my sister, and I'm going to make it look like I'm continuing to work diligently on Mahadi's.
Very good. Well, that will occupy your time for quite a while.
I just want to ask Ashenmal if I can really quickly, just when I'm out.
Do you see Ashenbon? Can you visit her?
Yeah.
Would you have her tell my sister, just boop?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thanks.
So, you continue with that. Zelmyra, you were taken under the wing of a very lovely young human woman named Belisandra, who taught you what you needed to know, the basics that you needed to know of giving massage. I'm assuming you did not have much familiarity with that before.
No.
Okay. So she shows you a few techniques. She explains that the most important thing is make sure you use some oil so you get a nice smooth stroke. She does explain that there are a lot of people who come in that are difficult to find their muscles, and difficult, they have scales or strange protrusions and things like that. She gives you a few pointers on how to go about doing that. However, it turns out you are quite good at it, because you figure out a way to use your monk training to use heat on creatures that or you find out are resistant to heat, and to use cold on those creatures that are resistant to cold. And it is able to you're able to use that to provide a very exclusive massage that none of the other masseurs and masseuses can do, because they would need to use magic, and they're not permitted to use magic. But the rules and the prohibitions against magic that are in place here do not seem to apply to some of your abilities. Belisandra does say to you one day, "You're very fortunate."
Fortunate. Why?
Well, you've got this gift that nobody else has. It's made you exclusive, and Mahadi has no doubt recognized that, and he will try to make sure that you remain unspoiled. so that he can continue to make use of your exclusive abilities.
I. She looks down at her hands and looks back up. What do you mean unspoiled?
Well, everything's for sale. And although there are specialists here that are available for other needs that clients might have, you never know when that particular customer is going to decide that that is the service that they want from one of their masseurs or masseuses.
What if I don't consent to that?
Well, that would probably make for a very bad experience for the customer and complaints, and well, we wouldn't want that.
What happens if there are complaints?
It is always good to work for Mahadi. It is always good to work for Mahadi. It can never be bad. It is always good.
Okay. Thanks for the insight.
Happy to help.
So how long have you been working for Mahadi? You seem to enjoy it.
Oh, yes. I can't complain. It's always good to work for Mahadi.
You
I started
mentioned-
here, some time ago. But I'm very fortunate to have found this job and to be in a position to help people on behalf of Mahadi. It's safe here.
Is it not safe in other parts of the Wandering Emporium?
Well, the Wandering Emporium is as safe as it can be, but it is so hot out there, and it weighs down on you. I do go out occasionally. I find that the longer I'm out there, the harder it is for me to appreciate all that I have here.
I haven't been able to. I haven't had the opportunity to explore the Emporium. Is that something that I would be able to do were I interested? Obviously, on and off hour or something,
If you have the time, of course.
and I could just leave to wander.
Such as it is.
Right. DM,
Mm.
how many off hours do I get?
You are expected to be available for massages for 12 hours a day. Each massage lasting anywhere from an hour to 3.
Oh, jeez.
All of my LMT friends just go, oh.
What is the time of day now?
You're
cleaning?
at your midday break.
And I'm guessing my break is like 15 minutes.
Actually, the break is not bad. You have a good hour of break, but it's just the hour. Usually
Right.
people space it out over 10-minute breaks throughout the day.
Sure. Okay. And there is a particular time at which all of the Emporium kind of shuts down, or is it a
Well, when the
24/7 venture?
Emporium is moving, which it hasn't actually. You have not been a part of the Emporium while it has been in movement yet. Although you've heard that is why it's called the Wandering Emporium. Everything gets put away, and the machines that create the circle around the Emporium grow enormous in size, and everything and everyone hops on, and the Emporium moves on to a new location. It has yet to have happened while you've been here.
Okay. So, were I to... Which break of the day is it?
This would be around the midpoint of your day. It's been you don't usually get booked all day long. The services for just getting into the wandering into Infernal Rapture costs a soul coin, and that includes a meal and some light services that you usually your services are much more of an exclusive thing, and so they would have to pay additionally to have your services. So there's not that many people that can afford that. So you don't have to do these. You're not working this entire time, but
Sure.
you're just available for it.
Okay.
You do have someone coming who has requested you specifically. You do not know why. You've never met them before.
Okay.
Their name is Ragadaga.
Ragadaga. Ragadaga do, am I right, guys? No.
Different show.
Okay. Cool.
You get some Mahadi snack.
That was like Blue from Blue's Clues. I don't know. I'm sorry. But so, my question would be this. So, can I, like, how do we get our oils and things? Like, let's just shoot in the breeze here. An accident were to happen in which I broke a lot of stuff, and I'd be like, oh, beans, and then I'd have to go and, like, is there, like, a supply closet that I have to, like, go back, like, out into the Emporium, or do I, like, is there an opportunity to create a reason to go out of the room that isn't just me wandering?
Well,
Only one
you
way to
can
find
get out. I mean, you're not a prisoner inside this place. In fact, you're not a prisoner inside the Wandering Emporium. The only thing that's keeping you is the fact that outside the Wandering Emporium is so dangerous.
Right.
And also, you don't know what Mahadi would do if you broke your contract.
Right.
But you can certainly go out into the Emporium. As far as breaking anything, you have heard stories that Mahadi keeps very careful records of things that happen and go wrong, and adds costs for mistakes.
Okay.
Usually in the form of more time added to your service.
I see. Okay, so I am taking my midday break. Let's just say you said I get an hour over like 12, and it's so I'm gonna say I haven't braked up to this point, if that is okay.
If I may, as you're contemplating this, there is a commotion from nearby.
Oh.
And
okay.
You turn out, and Belisandre looks out, and she goes, "Oh no! I mean, how wonderful! You have a customer." And you see coming down the hall an enormous man that looks like an anthropomorphized boar. Just,
where is this person who gives the rub-downs that feel so hot that I've heard of?
I channel heat through my hands.
Ah, it's you then.
Yes.
I'm Ragadaga. I'm here for my appointment.
Yes, let me check the book. And she goes over to the equivalent of the host stand, I guess, and checks the book, because she's wanting to believe that it is not her appointment, but she looks and verifies that it is.
He is early.
You're a little bit early. I haven't been able to set up the space yet.
Well, hurry up. I'll come in and watch.
Okay. And so Zelmyra goes into the area, because it's that shared area, right? It's kind of like out in the open between her and...
There is a shared area, but then there are private areas for the massages.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a chair massage situation
No,
at
not
the
this
airport.
time. Nope.
Okay. So I'm going to, I guess, lead Ragadaga into one of the rooms, but I leave the door open for the time being. It'll just get quite warm in here. We don't want that until the massage actually begins. So
Suit yourself.
okay.
When do you take your clothes off?
I'm sorry, when do I take my clothes off? That is not part of what I offer here.
And why is it so expensive?
It's expensive because of the fact that I can channel elemental things through my hands, like heat or cool, but no, I don't take my clothes off.
Doesn't seem fair. Mine'll be off.
He begins to take off his armor and dropping it in pieces right in front of you. The door open.
You can keep your pants on.
Why?
I figure that, we'll focus on the upper half of the body today.
No, that's not what I paid for.
I'll leave the door open then, just so, you don't get uncomfortably warm.
And he completely disrobes. He is hairy, smelly, and covered with boils and pustules.
God.
Just awful. But also quite large and looks rather strong.
So is your last name Daga, or is Ragadaga all one?
I am Ragadaga the Great, warlord of Avernus.
Okay, so Mr. Daga, if you would, please, just... And she gestures to a dressed table.
He goes and he sits on the table.
Start with this side.
Sure, yes. And she goes and grabs the oils that she needs and rubs them between her hands. And so you're interested specifically in heat, it sounds like.
Something to burn off all these sores.
Sure. Ugh. So gross.
So nasty.
Oh, okay, so she begins rubbing her hands.
Harder.
No, I haven't touched you yet, Ragadaga. One moment, please. I just want it to be, like you said, hot enough. And so she warms up one hand both, but she takes one hand and places it over the uppermost boil on, like, the upper arm.
Okay.
On the bicep. And just gingerly places it near to see if she has to actually touch it to get the boil to rupture.
Sleight of hand check.
Yeah, definitely sleight of hand check.
Well, I'll use my Kraken dice. Boopity boop 18.
Ooh.
And let me see if I have a modifier, because I don't have that memorized.
I'm just sitting here trying not to yak all over my
Oh my
keyboard.
gosh, I know. Oh, Sean,
This is what you came for, folks.
Quite the wordsmith.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It is
Tell
a
me about that
compliment.
pustule-filled
Oh,
boil.
but damn, dude. Okay.
So that is an 18, even without the bonus, is enough, and you're able to
Great,
generate
thank
the heat using your Way of the Four Elements training, and
Ugh.
it pops, and then immediately cauterizes. And
Now you can rub the muscle.
Sure. For what it's worth, it was a +3 on my sleight of hand.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay.
So
and,
in this way, you're able to
yeah, work.
break down the various parts that are pimply, and you turn them into scabs, and then you're able to get in and use the muscles. And he seems to be enjoying it. He begins to lean forward more and more, kind of getting his snout as he looks at your face.
tiefling, aren't you?
I am, and of course, reacting consciously and subconsciously to him invading her space, Zelmyra begins to kind of lean backwards, holding her hands out at length from her body.
You seem a little shy.
Oh, don't take this. It's not. When we work on extracting the fluid from inside of the source, sometimes it pops, and I'm just, we like to maintain a clean and professional appearance here, and
Make
I'm
a
just
persuasion check there.
Okay. Again, with my Kraken dice. Ooh, 19.
Ooh.
And let's see, plus 6, 25.
Wow.
Very nice. I feel better than I have in some time, but
Glad to hear that.
I think I want a bit more.
I could work on the calluses on your feet.
I don't think that's going to do.
And he begins to reach forward, and just as he reaches out towards you, there's a puff of purple smoke and pink sort of highlights and sparkles that just go over him.
Oh, yes, that's amazing. Oh, keep doing that.
Some of my best work.
Oh, he's really hideous.
Oh my god. Ashenbon?
Yeah, that's me.
How long have you been here?
Oh, I've been here the whole time.
You've been here the whole time?
I didn't want to interfere. It'd be very dangerous if anyone would catch me here, but he seemed very, very disgusting.
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll be around.
Oh, wait, before you go, is your brother here?
He's with your brother.
He's with my...
That reminds me. Your brother has a message.
He does? What is it?
Boop.
Can you deliver a message back?
Yes.
Just the same.
Okay.
Boop.
Wait a minute.
To be clear.
You see another cloud of this stuff go over Ragadaga's just like,
Zelmyra, her face is just contorted into a grimace.
What is the drug equivalent to that, Sean?
I don't know. So the rest of your time with Ragadaga is spent with him being in an absolute stupor, provided by Ashenbon. When the time is over, he gets up, and there is the creature that wrote out your contract, who you know to be named Cartesian. Purple cloak that covers most of her face, except glowing white eyes and tattoos all over her bald head, is standing at the door, looking, says, "Your time is up now, Ragadaga." And he sort of goes, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna book you for the rest of the day." And he lumbers out, still wearing nothing.
Oh my god.
Don't forget a towel.
And as you await his return, stepping in is Smiler the Defiler. His green skin and red hair and oddly leaf and vine-like armor. He sort of steps around the corner, sort of as if he was leaning there, and comes around and says, "I see you've met Ragadaga."
Yes, I've had the pleasure of making his acquaintance.
Quite the charmer, isn't he?
Sure. And Zelmyra busies herself kind of cleaning up the pus-soaked linens.
Oh god.
Oh. It wouldn't be so bad if it weren't for the smell. Don't you agree?
It would still be pretty bad, given his personality.
Interesting. You still have the ability to speak, not necessarily ill, but certainly not with great favor about your customers. That's not something that lasts very long around here. Means you're still you.
I intend to remain me.
Well, intentions and all. You'll be happy to know that I have booked you for the rest of the day. And I also happen to know that Ragged Dagger will not be able to be here any longer than one day, as he has other business. So, he will not be disturbing you anymore today, and you will have the honor of my company.
Well, I can't say that I don't thank you.
Good. Then don't say that you don't thank me. And
Okay.
he closes the door.
Oh, I
He says,
prefer if you kept that open.
"Oh, probably not. You don't have to rub me or do any of that.
Thank God.
This is, well, Ragadaga has treated several of his masseuses poorly. So when I saw that he had you booked, I took it upon myself to make sure that he couldn't do it anymore. Because, as I said, I have purchased your time for the rest of the day. You're quite expensive."
Yes. So since I'm not going to be treating you to a massage, what is it you would like to do?
Oh, just talk.
Oh. Okay.
There's something about you, Zelmyra. I'm very good at lying, but I don't want to lie to you. I will tell you the truth. Strange as that may be. All the time. I
Okay.
hope you will extend me the same courtesy.
Yeah, as long as I remain myself.
Oh, well, that has nothing to do with
I
me.
am a very honest person, so.
That's exactly what a liar would say. I feel I must point that out.
Or wouldn't just a straightforward and honest person be honest in telling people that they're straightforward and honest?
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever met anyone who's straightforward and honest.
Well, you have now.
Have I?
Aye, indeed, me.
Prove it.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
Usually, honesty requires some sort of question. Okay, well, we have this game that we play growing up. It's called Truth or Dare. Have you heard of it?
No. Sounds fun.
So it's a way to pass the time. Actually, this could be quite good. And I'm assuming that there are beverages or some sort of things in the room.
They are included with what he has paid. He can ask for anything.
Great. So Zelmyra walks over to the beverage cart, as it were, looks to Smiler and asks, so since we're just going to spend time together, I guess, would it be okay if I had a drink or something?
Please go right ahead. I have a question that I think you might lie about.
Okay, I would like the drink first.
Go right ahead.
And so how do I just wish it there and it materializes?
He has ordered he has ordered drinks of a various types.
I was
You got a
like,
bar.
how
You have
how
a mini
magical
bar.
is this?
You have a mini bar. It's not that magical.
A whole new world.
Careful, we don't have the rights to that song.
I mean, a whole new plane. There it is.
There it is. That's good.
As you're
okay,
drinking,
so
as
what-
you're taking a drink, you hear coming down the hall as I just. What do you mean she's booked? And you hear the sounds of a little bit of a scuffle, and Smiler is saying, he says, I could use it a bit more quiet. And all of a sudden, all sound from outside is no longer hearable in this room.
Zelmyra, poised to have drained her cup in one fell swoop, now seeing that Smiler is able to quell the fury outside, has resumed just sipping at her drink. Okay, you can ask your question. She sits down, poised on the side of the massage table.
If it meant that you could leave this place and never return, would you kill me?
Yes.
Good answer.
She raises her glass in a sort of cheers.
How do you think you'd do it?
That would take some more thought. I'm not yet familiar with your weaknesses, so I would likely spend some time studying you.
Would you be sorry to do it?
No.
For better. Would you ever experience a slight pang of regret?
If it meant that I could leave here with my brother, no.
Well, how exciting. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't be surprised if you could kill me, but the repercussions wouldn't go very well for you, I don't think, in the long run. But, shoot. Questions for me?
Sure. Why are you here?
Oh, my. I assume you mean here in Avernus.
Yes.
My fey blood rebels against answering this truthfully. Wants me to make some sort of quip or half-truth or say something why to see you. But the real reason is stupidity.
Stupidity how?
I was stupid.
In what way? There are a lot of ways to be stupid.
Oh, it's a long story.
We have time. We
We
booked
do.
you for the whole day.
We do.
Zelmyra pours herself another drink. Offers one to Smiler.
Let me make a counter-proposal. I will tell you the story of how I came to be here in Avernus, but as I said, that sort of truth is somewhat difficult for me to articulate, not because I don't want to, but because it is against my nature. So, small bits, small chunks. A bit of the story now, and a bit of the story the next time Ragadaga's in town and I find myself having to book you for the entire day. And I imagine that in between those two times, I will spend the time finding somehow all the soul coins it will cost for me to do that. It's going to be busy times, busy times. And at any rate, conversation continues. And true to his word, he does not appear, as you could tell, any direct questions. He doesn't answer, but not because he's lying. He just requests either not to have to answer them or requests that the answer be doled out over time. Because you do see it costs him something to speak direct truths. And when he leaves, you see no sign of Ragadaga.
Awesome.
And you had a day that was not unentertaining. Smiler is very full of himself, but he tells good stories.
Should I roll for my entertainment level?
Sure.
Roll for entertainment.
Performance
I'll roll
check.
for him too.
Perfect. Let's see. How well did the first date go?
He rolled a 17.
She rolled a 4.
Right, well, he did most of the talking.
Not impressed.
So, that occupies that little bit of time. Artie,
Yes.
several days have passed, and you have not seen Agamemnon. You think that she was due back, but she has not returned, and so you've taken advantage of the time. And as such, you are extremely exhausted. However, you are about a fourth of the way through completing the amulet that you are making for your sister.
Okay.
And based on the amount of time that you've been working and the amount of time you have left, if you have another 8 days, you think you will be able to complete it.
Okay.
But it will... You find yourself asking for... There's a substance akin to coffee that provides stimulation, but it... you are finding that it's called tachas. Tachathus. And
Gesundheit.
yeah, tachathus is what it's called. And it's a green drink that is usually drunk hot, and it is somewhat viscous. It is not... it requires a bit of a getting used to. Do you want to know how it's made?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
All right. It is secreted by a large slug-like creature that is being offered for sale. One of the creatures offered for sale at the Menagerie, the pet store that is here in the Wandering Emporium, and it's a large creature called a little large slug called a Takath. So, and this secretion comes off of it kind of like a mucus, but is then refined and distilled into this broth-like consistency, which can be drunk and provides an extreme amount of alertness and stimulation. But it does not remove the need for sleep. It just blocks it.
I've put worse things in my mouth.
Right. So one day, as you are working not in the tempo room, in the shop, the door opens and in steps Mahadi.
Mahadi.
Hello, Artemis.
Just Artem,
Artem.
actually.
My apologies. How are you coming with your project?
I've had some setbacks, but I'm making progress. It's just not been as quick as I'd hoped.
He steps forward and stroking his beard, his long pointy beard. No, you do not seem to have made much progress. This is most unfortunate for you. And I see you are perhaps not quite yourself.
I'm pretty tired, and if you'll forgive me, I miss my sister, and I think it's taking a toll on me.
Well, how interesting that you bring that up. It is of your sister that I wish to speak.
Can I see her?
Well, I am content to allow that to happen, but if you are so far behind, don't you think that time would be better spent working? After all, if you are not done in the allotted time, you will have to remain here for quite a while. Not that I would not enjoy your company.
No, I will finish. I promise. This is delicate magic, and it's important to me to make sure that I'm giving you something of quality. But my sister, I've never gone for more than a few days without seeing her, and I my heart aches, Mahadi.
How sad. Well, perhaps something can be arranged. However, there is a problem that I want to discuss with you first.
Okay.
Your sister is extremely skilled and gifted at what it is she does, and has become quite popular. This is
Good.
most fortunate for her. While I have many people in my employ that are gifted in other ways. Oftentimes, customers do not distinguish between my various compartmentalizations of skills. They will require massages from the horse, and vice versa. I would hate to see this happen to Zelmyra, and as I said, being as skilled as she has earned a bit of exclusivity. And I have taken pains to make sure that her expenses, her services are quite expensive. That said, everything has a price, and some very generous offers have been made for the opportunity to abuse your sister in this way. And I find that I am having a difficult time coming up with a reason to say no to these.
Artem's face hardens immediately.
That was not in the contract. That's not what we agreed to. She's not. You can't ask her to do that.
Alas, it is not what I want, but I have a certain reputation. And if I say no to some of these people offering these exorbitant sums, it will go badly for everyone. I am responsible for quite a few people. But perhaps if there was some sort of way to recoup the cost of what I would lose.
Artem's face is inscrutable. Can I make an insight check to determine if this is kind of what he was planning the entire time?
Sure.
That was a 17 plus something. Plus 2, so 19.
Watching him, you detect that beneath this veneer of affability and grace, there is a very shrewd and calculating mind. And while he outwardly is displaying sympathy and concern, there is a disgusting twinkle in his eye. It is both fortunate and unfortunate that she became so exclusive. The forbidden fruit, as it were. Your friend Smiler is doing a very good job protecting her, but even he has his financial limits.
You can't let them do that to her.
And he starts to, silent tears start coming down his face.
What will you offer me to make sure that this does not happen?
How much more time are you asking? We need to go home eventually. We can't be here forever, and I can't be apart from her.
I will arrange to see that you are able to spend time together. And I will make sure that she is not abused in this way in exchange for 3 years of service.
3 years!
But this is contingent upon whether or not you prove that these 3 years will provide me with any value. I highly suggest that you complete your work and impress me. Otherwise, I will have no need of 3 years of your service.
Artem is meeting his gaze with the same defiance.
You let me see my sister, and you let me see her now.
I will do this, but not because you demand it. because I find it convenient. I'm sure that you will find her in the Emporium at some point today. Have a nice visit, Artem. And he leaves the room.
As soon as he's gone and down the hall, Artem slams his fist on the table, and Homunculade comes up to him and nuzzles his neck a little bit, and he just cradles her in his arms and cries softly.
So, at some point, you do manage to find each other in the Wandering Emporium.
I immediately, without like any deference to other people looking or seeing, Artem runs directly into Zelmyra's arms, and he is hugging her tighter than he's ever hugged her before.
Zelly, oh God, Zelly, I missed you so much.
I missed you too. And she takes her hands and puts them over her brother's face and holds his face in her hands and looks at him, checking him over almost in a maternal way to make sure that he is unscathed, unscarred.
He is not looking well, actually.
What are they doing to you? Are you okay? You don't, she looks around. You don't look like yourself.
I'm really tired, Zelly.
Did you sleep?
Sometimes. But the thing he's having me make for him, it makes me very nervous to give a person like that this kind of power. Zelly, he came to me and he told me what he wants the customers to do to you, and I don't want to let that happen, but he asked me to stay for 3 years if I... Zelly, I'm scared.
You can't, she looks at her brother and sees the distress that he's in and the physical toll that it's taken on his body, and she knows in her heart of hearts that if he stays here, it will be the end of him. And she looks at him and says, what they're doing to you, it's killing you. You can't stay for 3 years. I can handle...
No, Zelly, I can't. I couldn't live with myself if I knew that that's what was happening to you.
Well, maybe something can be worked out. Maybe maybe if I also stay for longer.
No, Zelly, you can't.
And Artem looks at you, aware that people could potentially be listening to this conversation. Artem looks at you and tries to convey with his face that we have to try to leave. We have to try to escape. And I think that we know each other well enough that you could understand that look.
Oh, as the sister of two identical twins, they have a connection. It is factual. There's twin ESP.
Non-magical twin ESP.
Yeah, non-magical twin ESP. Just natural and inherent, intrinsic to their relationship. And so she understands, takes a breath, and nods curtly.
As you are having this conversation, you hear a throat clear from nearby. I apologize. I don't mean to offend, but you two both look like you could use a haircut.
Zelmyra realizes that she's not even thought about her hair since she got here, and let's be honest, Zelmyra, she's a little vain. So
you turn and you see a very
yeah.
plainly dressed woman in sort of a linen tunic that is dirty on the bottom, very, very tan skin, and long coppery brown hair that has sort of golden highlights in it coming down. Weather worn, but graceful and beautiful in sort of a maternal sort of way. She is standing in front of a tent that has a chair and a basin, very simple cutting implements and razor, and says, "I don't think I've seen either of you here before. My name is Bernie, the barber,
Hi.
and
Hi, Bernie.
you seem to be distressed, and I think that a little time spent on yourself can be very good for that sort of thing.
What's the cost?
1 copper piece."
Zelmyra looks to Artem.
Artem looks at Bernie and says,
Would it be a problem if I held my sister's hand the whole time?
Of course not.
And Zelmyra grasps Artem's hand, looks into his eyes to kind of suss out whether or not he actually feels comfortable doing this.
Artem gives a slight nod.
Okay, and she begins to walk forward towards Bernie in the tent.
So you sit in the chair, and she puts a cloth around your neck and says, "Do you want me to do anything with your horns, dear?"
In what way?
Could scrape off some of the grime, maybe give them a little oil and polish.
Yes, I suppose they are dirty.
Well, some people like that sort of thing, but she begins to sort of clean them as one would fingernails. She gives you a horn manicure. But a cornicure? A cornicure. She gives you a cornicure. And she cuts your hair. And as she does, she speaks of trivial things. But it seems like every story that she says, every comment that she makes reminds you of home, reminds you of the primaterial plane. And she describes it in such a way that you can almost see the places that you know and love from your past, your friends, your family, the good things of your life displayed before you as she cuts your hair. She finishes,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
and then she offers the same to you, Artem.
Yes, please.
I'll stay and hold your hand.
Thanks.
She does the same for you, Artem. And as she does, you feel some of your exhaustion beginning to fade. And the despair and helplessness begins to give way to more determination and hope. She finishes it and says, 2 coppers, please.
I'm gonna give her a gold.
My goodness. Very generous of you.
I think what you did was more generous of you. Bernie. Thank you.
You're welcome, Artem.
How did you do that?
Oh, you know. You find out what you're good at and pursue it as best you can. May not be glamorous, but I find it more rewarding than the services they offer at the Infernal Rapture. No offense.
No, how did you do what you did with my... It was like you were in my head.
Well, I don't know anything about that.
Zelmyra
Just told
looks
stories that I thought you would
at
like.
Artem.
Artem is smiling, and he looks at Bernie and said,
Are you a are you a hugger?
Not usually, but perhaps I can make an exception.
Artem gingerly goes and gives her a grateful hug.
She hugs you back.
Zelmyra reaches into her purse and withdraws a gold piece also, but
Well, that's just too much.
hands it over somewhat apprehensively. She's a little suspicious of this woman, but also knows that she feels better than she's felt for a long time. And seeing her brother so happy has an effect on her.
Well, do come and visit again.
I will.
Yeah. We'll try to make it back around at some point.
Artem leaves the tent, still clutching your hand, but in a less desperate and more resolved kind of way.
Sally, I think I have to get back to work, but we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
If you believe it, then I believe it too. When can I see you again?
I don't know, but I mean, there's nowhere you could go that I won't be with you.
Okay. And she pulls him in abruptly and squeezes him so tight and kisses his cheek before backing away.
Artem waves goodbye with his tail and goes back into the magic shop.
All right.
Zelmyra is just left standing in the crowd of the wandering employer.
Can I interest you in a flower?
You look down and you see a somewhat frazzled but still smiling, although her eyes are a little too wide, halfling who has before her a large collection of very anemic-looking flowers and plants that she has her hands out, and they're kind of shaking as she holds her hands over them.
Oh, how much are they?
Well, do you happen to have any food on you?
Food?
Yes, real food, not the sort of thing they serve here. Something grown, an apple, fruit, a vegetable of some sort.
DM, I wouldn't, right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But you could potentially bring her some. They do have those that for sale in the Infernal Rapture.
Indeed. I don't currently, but I could get you some.
Oh, I'd be very appreciative.
Yes.
My name is Dawn. What's
Hi.
yours?
It's Zelmyra.
Hi, nice to meet you, Zelmyra.
Good to meet you.
Yes, I'd be happy to give you 3 of these. Any 3 you want, in exchange for some food, not from Avernus.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. I'll just have to go into Infernal Rapture and get it, but I'll be back.
I'll be here. I'll be here.
Okay. And Zelmyra sets off to go procure the fruit.
You do. And Dawn is very appreciative, and she allows you to choose from her very small collection of plants that are amazingly growing here in Avernus. Although you get the impression that the only reason why they are is that she's expending a tremendous amount of energy. She doesn't seem to be casting any spells.
These are beautiful. Which do you suggest?
Well, whichever strikes your fancy. This one's named Alice. This one is Jim. This one is Tarek. And she goes through and names all of the plants.
Oh, they you've named them. They seem dear to you.
They're my friends.
I don't want to separate you from your friends. Please accept this food as a gift.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Of course. Also, I work as a masseuse. I'd be happy if you came and visited me sometime.
That's very kind of you, but I can't go into the Wandering Emporium. It costs soul coin. I can't touch most things.
Oh, well, I'd be
Not the
happy.
one you said Infernal Rapture. She says it.
I'd be happy to do some to help you here.
I don't know what all you could do, but just bringing me food that's wholesome would be enough.
Okay. Is there anything visibly that might be causing her physical pain?
Make an insight check or arcana check.
We're gonna go insight because I don't have any arcana specialty. Let's see. Ooh, rolling high tonight.
Nice.
18 on my Kraken dice. And let's see. We said insight.
Mhm.
Beep boop. Plus 6, 24.
Wow. So this would actually be more of a perception, not insight, although
Okay.
that insight does allow you to see that she's expending a great deal of effort. But it would be the perception, so you same roll in the die, but then add your perception.
Plus 3, 21.
21. So you could see as she is as she has her hands out, they're trembling, and as their fingers move and she trembles, you see all these little plants. They're trembling in exactly the same way that her hands is, and when she moves, they kind of move back and forth, as if she is protecting them somehow. But magic is forbidden
Right.
in the Wandering Emporium, so however she's doing it, she is not expending any magic energy.
And you mentioned that the flowers looked dry.
They look very, very about to die.
Okay, so Zelmyra extends a hand, and as she's watching Fawn, is it Fawn or Dawn?
Dawn.
Dawn. As she's watching Dawn's hands sort of tremble over the flowers, she asks, May I try something? It won't hurt. I just want to touch your hand.
All right.
And so she channels water, like a cooling water through her hands, and kind of, I'm imagining she like pulls it between her own two hands. What if you tried sticking your hand in this little pool?
Oh, clean water. Oh, that will be of great use. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, of course.
How are you doing that? She looks around furtively. Like, don't let anybody see you doing that.
It's not magic. I am a monk in the way of the four elements, and I am able to do things like this.
You shouldn't display it. If it's not forbidden now, it will be soon.
Oh, I feel like it's too lucrative to be forbidden to me.
You are able to use the water. She's able to sort of spread it out between the plants, and they all get a little water. But she's extremely nervous about it. She's looking around, like trying to do it very quickly and
Sure. So
surreptitiously.
are you here every day?
I never leave here. I can't leave my friends.
Oh, of course you wouldn't. Well, I'll come back and visit if that's okay.
Sure.
Great.
Bye.
Goodbye. And Zelmyra walks back to Infernal Rapture.
Some more time passes. Another few days. One morning, Zelmyra, when you don't have any clients booked, Mahadi steps into your room with a large sort of circular box or some such that has a cover over it. And it's floating behind him as he comes in. He walks in. He says, bows. He says, "Good day, Zelmyra.
Mahadi?
I am very pleased by how well you have fit in.
Thank you.
I have prided myself on being a good judge of abilities and character, and I am pleased to say that I have made an excellent choice in acquiring your services. There is a problem, unfortunately.
What sort of problem?
It is your brother.
What about my brother?
This place does not seem to agree with him. That does seem to be the case with many. He is falling behind in his schedule, and I fear that he will not be able to complete his project in the allocated time. And as such, I will require him to pay in some other way.
Pay how?
This sort of impasse is usually dealt with by gaining more time and more service, but in this case it is complicated by the fact that if I were to gain his service for more time, it would be for a reason that would demonstrate he is not of any value. So I am afraid I would have to find some other means to recoup my losses.
Why can't you just give him more time? Have you considered that it's not enough time, that the deadline is unreasonable?
Well,
I saw him, he looks exhausted.
that is, of course, correct, but this was the time that was agreed upon. He said he could do it. And the fact that he said he could do it in that amount of time was what made him of value. There were not many who could. But I was impressed by his fascinating hand. Perhaps that is the problem. But I might be willing to give him more time to complete this, but I would need something from you.
Okay.
He pulls off the cover of the cage. And inside, at the very bottom of the cage, is a very dirty and somewhat sodden creature. You've never seen anything like it. It appears to be winged. Kind of a yellowish gold tint to its skin. Difficult to see if it's a bird or some sort of mammalian creature. You see highlights of blue and pink in and around its ears, and a large tuft of blue fur on the end of its tail. And it looks up at you with very sad eyes and a long trunk, 2 little tusks. This thing has come to me, and it is a problem. I wonder if with your special gifts, you could not find a way to make it more itself. In this form, it is of no value to anyone.
Zelmyra looks at the caged creature and approaches the bars. She gets down onto her knees and attempts to peer inside and is trying to assess if there's any physical damage that's obvious. She looks at Mahadi. What seems to be the problem?
I do not have any idea. It's a most annoying and problematic creature. But circumstances being what they are, I cannot dispose of it. And it is but possible it might have value in the future. But at the moment, it is of no use. At the very least, try. If you are successful in restoring it to some of its former nature, then I will consider offering your brother more time to complete his project.
How much time do I have?
3 days.
Okay.
Always good to see you, Zelmyra.
Zelmyra just nods.
You look down at this little cage, this forlorn little creature.
My name is Lulu. I think.
You think your name is Lulu?
I heard someone call me that.
Okay, well, then if that's the name that you'd like to be called, we can call you that. And Zelmyra busies herself undoing whatever's holding this cage closed.
And this just little comes out. The water that is coming off of this creature is leaving little red puddles in the room.
Forgive me for asking. Are you usually this wet?
I don't know.
Okay. Are you new to the world?
I don't know.
Okay, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Zelmyra. I want to help you.
Okay.
Okay. And she looks up at the table. She's been kind of crouched in front of Lulu, and she looks up at the massage table that's dressed in beautiful linens and silks. And Josh, because she saw that Lulu has wings, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, but considering that she's like, obviously what, they wouldn't be usable, I'm guessing.
Right.
Right.
This water that's pouring off her, dripping little red droplets.
Okay.
Almost looks like blood, but it is clearly not blood. She doesn't appear to be wounded.
Okay. And so with her elemental bending, as it were, can she kind of exude a dry heat that would dry her? Okay. So Zelmyra begins to, and she looks at Lulu and she says, "This is not going to hurt. I'm guessing, are you a little bit, are you uncomfortable?"
I don't know.
Sure. Okay.
I think yes.
You think yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do, it won't hurt. This is a non-threatening situation. And then she begins to hold her hands over the shape of the creature, and she just kind of almost, again, like exuding a dry air, a dry heat, begins to hopefully wick the water away and wick it off the wings.
Very nice. Not touching her, I assume.
Not touching her, no.
All right. So you do this, and she closes her eyes against it and goes, and leans into it as the heat sort of blows back, and you see that she does have fur that then tapers into almost feather-like quality, and it begins to puff up and puff up more and more as she gets this blow drying, until finally she's just this little of golden fur that has a feather-like quality to it, and large ears that have pink interiors and sort of flap and fly around as if they're on a breeze that you can't see, and butterfly wings and a long tail. And she looks up.
That's much better, I think.
Wonderful. You look beautiful.
So do you.
Thank you. Would you like to? Do you know how to fly?
I don't know.
Okay, so if you were to look up at this table, and she points to the massage table, guessing that Lulu was still on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
could you get yourself up there?
Yes.
Okay.
And she takes a step forward and just falls right on her face.
Oh no. Okay.
No.
So she can't fly?
I don't know.
Oh, right, sure, of course. Well, I can't fly either, so I can't really teach her how to fly.
Well, you have 3 days to do it.
Perfect.
You spend your 3 days coming to know this creature named Lulu, who is as innocent a thing as you have ever met. She seems to perk up, and her eyes get brighter whenever you experience genuine joy, which unfortunately is not very often. However, it happens enough that you are able to, you think, bring her to more of who she naturally is, although why Mahadi would want that, you have no idea.
Yeah, I'm definitely suspicious of why he'd want that.
That brings us to our 2-hour mark, friends. I think we will, in fact, take a 10-minute break. And so, without further ado, we return to the Wandering Emporium, where the two twins, Artem and Zelmyra, are struggling to fulfill their bargain to Mahadi as they feel the hand of fate grasping ever tighter around them. Zelmyra, there's one thing I did forget to mention. As you were cleaning up Lulu, she is completely bare except for her golden skin, except for one thing. Around her neck, she has a very long scarf of sorts, almost like a World War I flying ace's scarf, except not quite as long. But it goes around her neck twice. It would obviously, she's very little, so it goes around her neck far more than it would around somebody else. But appears to be made of simple silk.
Oh, so that's definitely something I would have commented on. Is there time to do that now?
Oh, sure.
Okay. This is lovely. And I guess that I'm still wearing my clothing, like my silk stuff,
Yeah,
right?
you would have been provided with other clothing,
Okay.
and to be honest, the clothing that you were provided with by Mahadi is quite fine. So unless you have a definite aversion to wearing it, you have your pick. Yeah, you'd be wearing it.
Right.
Okay.
So is some of it? I'm gonna just say some of it is silk.
Sure.
Because Zelmyra loves silk, and so she kind of gestures to the fine silk that she's wearing, and she says, I'm quite fond of silk myself. That scarf, is it? It's beautiful. Do you mind if I touch it?
No,
Oh,
I don't think so.
okay. And Zelmyra reaches out and just touches one part of the silk scarf.
It
Takes
feels,
it between her fingers and
feels about how you would expect it would feel.
and
Maybe a little sandy. It's a little grimy, but it's other than that.
So now that you're nice and clean, this is a little dirty. Do you mind if I wash it?
No.
Okay. And so Zelmyra begins to unravel the scarf from around Lulu's neck.
All right.
And
You do so, and it is yours to wash.
oh,
But
great.
she does look at you very intently as you're doing it.
Would you like to watch me do this?
This feels very important. I want to make sure that I get it back.
Of course, of course. And Zelmyra takes the basin full of water that was up on some sort of countertop down to the floor with her, takes some fragrant oils, and adds them to the water and makes a fragrant,
Ooh.
yeah, lovely water to wash away the dirt and the grime in, but handles the silk scarf very gently and with a lot of care.
It's so strange. I can't remember anything, but this is important.
Okay, sure. And then after she's finished washing it, she uses the same sort of dry heat that she used to dry Lulu, to dry the scarf,
Mm-hmm.
and then ties it back around her neck.
All right.
Sean, I hate to interrupt, but we just got a very generous 300 bits from
Oh
Alias Prime.
Goodness, thank you so much, Alias Prime, for
Thanks,
300
Alias
bits.
Prime.
I need to roll a thing. I have rolled, let's see. Doop. All right. There's a lot of people on this list who are not with us. So if we go to Artem and Zelmyra, it appears that Zelmyra has the higher score of 11.
Ooh.
300 bits.
That's a D6.
It's a D6. So remember,
Nice.
Zelmyra, you will need to use that you need to use that today
Okay.
for some roll that you make this evening.
Okie doke.
Thank you, Alias.
Thank you very much for your
Alias.
generosity. We appreciate your support and oh so many other things about you. Quite the bowler.
Oh, really?
Ah, interesting. Fun fact.
Fun fact. Yes, we all bowled extremely well. Never mind.
Good thing I
I
was
believe
there.
it. That sounded real.
Deception check.
Yeah, I need you to roll a deception check.
You return Lulu's scarf and spend the next few days bringing her out of whatever strange funk she was in. And by the end
So-
of the third day, she is rather chipper and
I have a-
able to fly. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I actually had a question about her wings.
Mhm.
Are they like gossamer?
Yes, they're beautiful gossamer butterfly-like wings.
Oh, how pretty.
There's a very... When she flies, it is a very graceful and beautiful thing. However, if you think about it too much, the size of her wings don't really fit with the size of her body. It doesn't seem like she should be able to fly.
Okay.
They are butterfly-like in shape, but they actually
Right.
are feathered. They're not fairy wings. They are
Okay.
more
But they're very
angelic.
thin.
Yeah.
Okay.
More angelic.
Thank you.
But they have a similar size and shape to butterfly wings. So, this brings us now for quite a few numbers of days later. Artem, you are nearing the end of being able to complete your project. And with the help of Bernie, you have found your second wind and you were able to press through, and you have heard that Agamemnon will be returning. So you have just this one last day, and there is one final component that you need, and it is celestial blood.
Oh. Okay. Well, the player knows where to get that. I am going to go wandering. If he's if he is doped. If he's doped effectively, I'm going to go out into the wandering emporium, and I'm going to see what I can find.
Well, Ashen Mal can dope him when you want to go into the tempo room, But otherwise,
Oh, I won't be able to leave.
you won't be able to leave. Right.
Huh. Okay. All right, then.
But you have been able to ask for anything you've needed, and it has come.
Oh,
Although
okay.
the fact that Agamemnon is not here, and this being a component that might be difficult to procure.
I see. Well, then I will. I will. I wouldn't be able to ask one of the invisible servants for something like this.
You could try.
I will try.
There's a gust of wind, and you wait, and wait, and wait. And you hear a message in your head. Celestial blood. This is needed to complete your project.
Yeah, it's the. Yes, it's an important part. Yes.
It just so happens that I happen to have some of this. Do I take it to mean that you are reaching completion?
No, but it would get me a significant step closer.
Very well. I shall see that you are provided with some.
Yeah, that's
Right. Zelmyra, Mahadi enters your room and looks down at Lulu flying around. Ah, I see you have been successful. How are you feeling?
How am I feeling? Fine. Happy that she seems to be doing better.
It occurs to me that I've never actually spelled your name. Do you know how to?
How to spell my own name. I do know how to spell my own name, yes.
Would you be so kind?
Sure. Zelmyra.
Yes. I'd otherwise fine.
Yes.
She was quite wet when she came in. I see that you took care of that.
Yeah.
Good
Just
for
dried
you.
her off.
Come, Lulu. You are needed elsewhere.
It was nice meeting you.
It was nice to meet you too.
He seems very grumpy.
And she flies out with Mahadi. And before long, Mahadi appears at the magic shop. Artem, this is Lulu. I believe she will be able to provide you with what you need.
Oh, I thought it would be in a vial or in a. I didn't realize I'd have to take it.
It is the nature of the plains that creatures that are not naturally inherent to them, their vital essences do not last very long.
Yeah, I guess that makes
There
sense.
is a special preparation, I believe, involved in making sure that this does not happen. But I must confess that if I ever did know how to do it, I have forgotten it. Agamemnon is the one who I usually turn to this sort of thing, and she is elsewhere. So if you need a celestial blood, you will have to get it from the source.
Gotcha.
Hello.
Hi. What's your name?
My name is Lulu.
Lulu.
My name is Lulu.
You sure are cute.
Thank you. So are
Mahadi.
you.
Oh, goodness. Mahadi, I think it'd be best if we had time alone for this.
As you wish. Lulu, when you are finished here, please return to my quarters.
Oh. All right.
I didn't realize. Oh, goodness. This is not a good first introduction.
Did I say something wrong?
No. Lulu, I'm making something.
Ooh. Is it food?
No, but it's going to protect someone who's very important. And I need something that you have. I need...
Is it my scarf?
No. Although that is a lovely scarf.
The scarf around her neck, as you are looking at it, appears to be made out of silk, but there is a slight golden sheen to it.
That is a beautiful scarf.
Zelmyra cleaned it.
She's a special person, isn't she?
I
She's
think
my
so.
she's my twin sister, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Lulu, I need a tiny bit of your blood.
Oh. For what you're making,
For what I'm making, yeah.
that will protect someone.
Someone very important.
Well, that seems like a good thing to do.
May I just extract a little tiny bit?
How much? Little
How
tiny
much?
bit.
How much do I need, Sean?
Not much.
Just a little thimbleful.
Okay.
I'll be very careful.
Well, that's good.
Okay. Here, sometimes when I'm nervous and I think something's gonna hurt, my sister would hold me and it wouldn't hurt so much. So maybe if I just hold you tightly when I do it, it won't hurt very much.
Are you sad? You look sad.
Yeah, Lulu.
Would you like my scarf?
I would. That's
You
very
need to give it
nice.
back.
Yeah, I'll give it back.
And I'll put it over my head, and I'll put it around my neck.
All right, as you touch the scarf, there is a strange sensation, a buzzing sensation as your fingers touch it, sort of a vibration. It's there for just a second, and then it disappears.
Can I sense what it is?
It was a buzzing sensation.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back to that.
And I'll fold it very carefully, and I'll put it on the table.
Okay,
You're
Lulu.
supposed to hold it. It makes you feel better.
Oh, okay.
And I'll hold
You
it.
don't have to.
No, yeah.
And he holds it, and he holds it very tightly, and like puts it up to his face.
She really is cute.
I guess I have
Who said that?
another very cute winged friend of mine.
Hey, you think I'm cute?
Yeah, I like cute little flying things. I made one.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
Well, hello. My name is Lulu.
You should
Hello?
introduce yourself.
Probably best not to get attached.
He's shy. Okay, Lulu. Just, hold on a second.
And he'll take a very, very tiny incision in a part where he doesn't think it will hurt very much, like right above knee, where there's a good amount of like
Make
thick
a sleight of
flesh.
hand check.
Oh God. Okay. Come on. Big number. 14 plus 3, 17?
Oh,
Is that okay?
that wasn't bad at all.
Oh, good.
And I'll collect it, and I will infuse it into the item.
All right, it is complete.
Oh, Lulu, thank you. I think this is gonna. The scarf.
I'm supposed to go back to Mahadi now, so
Do you mind if I just take a few minutes and look at your scarf?
well, no, he didn't say when, so I guess I can hang out here and see where your friend might be.
I'm gonna ritually cast Identify on the scarf with my
Okay.
fancy book.
All right. You do have the ability to cast limited spells while you are in the magic shop only. Identify is one of them.
And I have the book that allows me to do that.
Yes.
Yes. Anything good?
It is extremely powerful. There is a presence. And as you're casting the spell, you feel, well, this isn't working. Maybe I imagined it. There was nothing special about this. And just as you're about to dismiss it, it suddenly begins to glow with a piercing white light. Not because of your spell, but because it wanted you to see. And then it fades. Artem.
I guess that's not Lulu, huh?
No.
Who am I talking to?
There is not an easy answer to that question.
Okay. Hi.
Salutations.
You are, you're frighteningly powerful.
Yes.
Why are you here?
There is not an easy answer to that question. But I am here to help you now.
Oh God, I really need help. What do I need to do?
Put me over your eyes, Artem.
Okay.
Completely obscure your sight.
And he will tie it very tightly around his head, being very careful to tuck it under the sharp part of his horns.
All right. As you do so, your vision goes black, as if blindfolded, and then it comes back, except sharper, more clear, more vibrant than before. And you look around and you see Ashenmal in the top corner of the room as Lulu flies around looking for him. And you can see around Lulu a shining aura of gentle light.
Oh, wow.
And Artem will very quietly say to Lulu,
Hey, Lulu.
and he will just point very subtly with his tail to the corner that Ashenmal is in.
Oh, I wonder where he is. I suppose he isn't over here.
And she flies up and just runs right into him. He's like, God! Ow! Ah!
All right.
Oh, wow. This is a very dangerous thing to have in this place, isn't it?
What is?
I'm speaking to the blindfold.
There's no answer.
Lulu. I know we just met. But this scarf should never be around Mahadi.
What scarf?
Hey, you take care of yourself, okay? And if you see my sister, tell her I said, boop.
All right. It was nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too. And thank you.
Well, I guess I'll see you around.
I sure hope so, Lulu.
And she flutters out.
And Artem will take the blindfold off. And oh no, I guess it's still on because
Still
Zelmyra
on.
just still disappeared. I will take it off and pocket it very carefully in my. Here's a question: if I have it on,
Mm-hmm.
can other people see it that I have it on, or does
You-
it disappear?
Have the impression that you can make it so that it's either seen or unseen at will.
Oh, well then I will keep it on.
Mm-hmm.
I will keep it on and
Hey,
make
boss,
it
feel like
unseen.
going for a walk?
Oh, yeah, I kind of do.
I think I got a little more in me today than usual.
Let's give him an extra dose, shall we?
You got it.
And he flies out, and you see Grigus say, "There's like, oh, is it time?
Oh, it's time.
All right." And spraying over him, he's like, "Yeah." And he just
Take your time.
I'm gonna try to wander out of the magic shop, Sean.
all right.
I've got the. I want to stop in really quickly and see Bernie, and just to say a quick hi.
All right, so you step out, and things have changed a great deal.
Oh,
Much of what you have seen before is apparently not the truth. You see creatures that have seemed to be one thing now are completely different. Most of them much larger and more horrible than what they appear to be. You see the Infernal Rapture tent. You're looking at it, and as you look at it, you see the tent, but then you can see superimposed on it, it seems to be layer after layer after layer after layer of all of the different components that you have seen inside, and some that you haven't. And as you look at it more and more, you see them begin to separate out as you focus. You are able to see the various connections, almost as if it's one central location attached to many by small silvery threads, as if it's some giant float reaching up high over the Wandering Emporium. Each one of these different buildings and different sections of reality, all connected to this one space. You look towards the front and you see Mahadi walking. But as he turns, his dark-skinned features and his pointy beard and his well-made but not necessarily opulent clothing changes. The face goes from being humanoid to furred. A tiger's face. And his robes go from being somewhat plain to very, very opulent. Long, luxurious red velvet robes with gems encrusted all over it. And he has a pipe, and he brings the pipe up to his mouth. And as he does, you look at his hands, which are clawed like a tiger's hands, but there's something odd about them. Can't quite put your finger on it until you realize that his thumb is on the wrong side. His hands are reversed.
it's
He's
pretty creepy.
nodding at everybody who comes through and sort of interacting. And you turn to look over to where Bernie is. And that section of the Wandering Emporium is dwarfed by a gigantic, glowing, bronze-scaled dragon.
Oh shit. Artem in looking at that, is very shocked and humbled, and he was going to go say hi, and now he feels very anxious about doing so. Where did Mahadi come out of?
He's just walking around the Emporium, but you will have no trouble following him with your new sight.
Okay, I'm going to kind of from a distance see where it is that he goes.
So you follow him around, and he checks in with various people. Make a stealth check.
Okay. Oh, not the best. I got a 7 plus a 3 is a 10.
A 10.
Fair to middling.
Yeah.
Mahadi looks over his shoulder at you. Artem,
Hi.
have you completed your task for today?
I'm getting very close. Lulu was a good patient. She should be, waiting for you.
Ah, well, I'll make sure that she is not disturbing anything.
Oh, okay. It was very nice to meet her.
Is everything all right?
Fine. I'm just, my usual tired self. I just
Make
thought
this
I'd...
deception check, Artem.
Well, that's better. I got an 18 plus 1. I got a 19.
Well, that beats his 9. And then, I look forward to seeing your completed work.
And he just bows.
He smokes his pipe again, knocks it on his wrist, puts it away, and begins to move towards the center of the Emporium. And as he does so, you see in the very middle of the Emporium a large, glowing portal swirling, dark starfield inside.
Did he go into it?
He walks towards it and disappears into it.
I'm gonna wait a minute, and I'm going to very carefully send Homuncu Jade in to see where he goes.
Homuncu Jade cannot see it.
Oh crap. Okay, I'm going to go in and I'm gonna take a peek myself. Can I see into it from without going into it?
No.
So I have to go into it in order to go into it. Oh,
Means.
Doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
the portal itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else of note in the? Oh, I just dropped my die. Is there anything else of note that looks particularly different aside from this gigantic glowing portal?
Just the dragon.
Well, yeah, that's pretty different. Okay. I'm just gonna poke my head in, Sean.
All right. You poke your head in, you see a long, narrow stone passageway and Mahadi disappearing into a room that seems to be lit with some low light, but also the way the reflections, I mean, they think there's water in the room as well.
Okay. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to be more stealthy than I was last time.
All right, let's see what you do.
Okay, that's better. 16 plus a 3 is 19.
Okay.
Oh, Sean, the way you say that gives me just all sorts of intestinal angst. Okay, I'm going to keep. I'm just going to keep going, and we'll see what I see.
All right. So very quietly, you creep down this hallway, and you look and you see at the end of it is a very large circular room, about 60 feet in diameter. And it is arranged as tiers. The very top is at one level, and then there's another come down, almost like it's an auditorium. But in the middle, instead of there being a stage, there's a large, looks to be set up like a bath, like a bathing area. And in the middle of it is a glowing crystal that just hovers in the very center above this pool. The room is dimly lit, and as you look around, you see little alcoves around. And inside each one of these alcoves is a small crystal vessel, like a little crystal vial, or little crystal boxes in some cases, little crystal jars, each one of them placed in little cubbies along the outer edges of this room, going along the entire outer top ring around this base, and then again around the ring around in the second down, and then coming all the way down. The closest to it doesn't appear to be completely full. There are spaces for others, but this appears to be a collection of these crystal containers. And on the far wall, there is a glow, as if something of very tense amount of heat. Indeed, you seem to get the impression that lava is actually coming down the far wall on the left, sort of slowly pulling down and coming down and cascading just very, very slowly over each of the levels coming down. As it does from the other side, there is like a glacier that is coming, just a massive amount of ice that is just pouring down, obviously not moving, but almost appears to be frozen in the act of moving. And where the two meet is where the water for this the center of this pool is coming from. There's a great amount of steam being created from where the ice and the lava meet, and then of course the ice is melting into water. The water is then going into the pool. And as you look, you see Mahadi crossing along the outer side of the one of the sort of pathways around this ring. There's enough room on each of these rings to walk. And as he does, he looks towards the crystal and raises a hand and snaps. And the crystal that's hanging in the middle of the room thrums for a second. And you see each of the vials in each of the alcoves begin to glow as well, and there's a sort of a hum that comes from them, and each one of the hums is a little different, slightly different pitch, and as they do, they begin to create a musical melody, a vibration, each one of them vibrating slightly differently and creating a beautiful tune that rises and falls. But as you watch with your sight, you see that as each one of these crystals vibrates, you could see a figure sort of reaching up out of it, clawing as if trying to escape, and their mouth open as they are creating a note, this music that is being made, and their faces in anguish as they are being forced to create whatever this sound, this music is coming out of them. Appears to be some sort of horrible, painful process as each one of them vibrates. He stands there listening to them for a moment before moving along to the opposite side of the room. And as he does, he steps and he draws a couple of runes in the air, and another portal appears. He steps through it and out of the room.
Oh. I'm
And
gonna
that portal disappears.
I'm gonna step in and take a closer look at these crystal vessels.
All right, make an investigation check.
15 plus 8, 23.
Very intricately made. None of them appear to be natural. Every single one of them has been crafted in some way. You see a couple that are actually crafted in the shape of animals, but they are all of a similar crystal, either diamond or, in some cases, a very pale ruby.
If I look really closely at one in particular, any of them in particular, can I see what's inside of it?
As you look at it, you seem to think, well, this is just a crystal. But as you look at it, your eyesight focuses and you look at it and you are able to see huddled in the edge of this crystal, as if very small inside a crystal prison, the form of a humanoid. Short, black hair, looks to be around 18 or 19 years old. Male. Just has his hands over his eyes.
I'm going to gently touch it and see if I can communicate with it, Sean.
Hello?
What are you doing in there?
Please, you gotta help me. Please, please. You have to take me from here.
How did you get in here? What are you doing in here?
It's Mahadi nearby. He's
No, but he
trapped me.
Has he trapped all of these creatures?
I don't know what. I just know about me.
What did you do to get in here?
Please, let me out. I want to go home. I want to go home. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to insult him. I didn't know.
Listen to me. I'm gonna find a way to get you out. Just hang in there, okay?
You can't leave me here. You gotta get me out. Get me out. Get me out or I'll destroy you. I will destroy you.
I release I release my connection.
It immediately stops.
I'm afraid to touch any others. I'm going to be I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out of his room.
Okay.
And I'm gonna exit the portal.
All right.
I'm going to take the blindfold off.
All right.
And I'm going to walk to Bernie.
Artem.
Hi. Do you
You
know?
seem different.
Huh. So did you? Do you know what's in there?
And Artem will just look to the portal.
How are you able to see that?
Bernie, or whoever you are, I have to do something.
Well, if you have to do something, then something is what you have to do.
What did you say? You do what you're best at.
That is what I said. Come closer.
Artem will step closer.
She puts a hand on your shoulder and it's incredibly heavy. How?
And I'll how she's asking how I see. I've
She
seen
just
her.
said how.
I will touch the. I will touch the blindfold, and I will project it in project the image into the dragon's mind.
Help me free them.
I cannot.
Can you tell me how I can free them?
They sang. Did
They
not?
sang.
Amazing things can be done with sound.
And
I once saw a woman sing a note so high and pure that it broke a glass across the room.
And Artem, his eyes go wide, and he puts his hand where he feels the weight. Yes.
Listen to me very carefully. What you have cannot make its way into the hands of any of the creatures that call this place home.
And Artem weakly nods his head.
More than you can possibly comprehend depends on it. I could take it from you, but I won't.
Are you here of your own free will?
I have been given a very sacred mission by my father, the father of all dragonkind.
I hope you do it.
That is good to hear, Artem. Thank you.
This will be my sacred mission.
She reaches out and she touches your cheek very gently. Stay true and don't lose. She points at your heart. This. And it will all be well in the end.
And Artem, still
There is
very...
so much more to existence than what mortals experience here.
Thank you.
And Artem will take a step back and give an awkward but very genuine slight bow. And he will move very quickly into the tempo room.
All right.
I'm
You
going
go
to
past Grigas, who is, and you enter the tempo room.
I'm going to turn the dial down, and I'm going to research a spell that will allow me to emit a shatter frequency.
All right. How much do you turn it down?
How much time do I think I have?
Agamemnon is due back very soon.
Then I will turn it very down.
All right. You feel that you are gaining the time, but when you step out, there will be a very significant cost. Zelmyra. Once again, you look at your schedule for the day, and Smiler has booked you for the entire day.
He nods.
This is the fourth time he's done this. And you've come to understand that when he does this, it is specifically because Ragadaga is in town and he is trying to book you. And he is deliberate. He's figured out a way to know when Ragadaga is coming. And he has specifically booked your time so that Ragadaga cannot.
She's appreciative.
So he comes in and he closes the door. Well, how would you like to get out of here?
Is that some sort of joke?
No, it's the truth. I have heard something.
Okay, what have you heard?
Mahadi's very powerful, but there are other powers here in Avernus. Some of them not as powerful as he, but powerful enough to give him pause. One of them is a delightfully horrible woman named Mad Maggie. And she has interest in a certain creature that Mahadi has. she will offer you and your brother protection in exchange for this creature.
What do you know about the creature?
Yeah, it's called Lulu, that's all I know.
Oh. I've met Lulu.
Oh, excellent. You friends? Does she trust you?
She does.
Perfect.
Why? What is Mad Maggie? What does she want with her?
I have no idea, but is that really important? I mean, it's a way that you could be away from Mahadi. I imagine there would be some way to get you back to the parameter plane. Not that I'm excited to see you go, but I do know that that's what you want. And, well, I'm willing to help you in exchange for something.
For what?
It's nothing terrible. I have a name. It's difficult for the Fae to give their name, but those who know their actual name do have some power over them. And if you ever were to use my actual name in a summoning spell of some sort, then I would be obliged to come. I don't know if you'll ever have that sort of power, but it is probably one of the more precious things I have to give. And all I ask is that whenever I request it, you say my name with nothing but genuine tenderness in your heart. You don't have to think of me when you say it. You can think of something else. Just the emotion, sentiment. That's all I ask.
I think I could do that.
I'm sure, just like that. It's a very precious thing that I'm offering. Well, anyway, my name is Mike. My name is Galinarius.
Okay.
Could you say it, please?
Prius Galinarius?
Yes. Wonderful. Well, I look forward to many more opportunities for that. Well, so all you need to do is get a hold of this creature. Where'd you go?
I'm still here.
How did you do that?
I know.
Put the blind back on.
I knocked my light. It's wonky. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having technical
moonlighting.
difficulties.
Thank you. Well, in 2 days from now, a couple of Kenku will arrive, and they will speak to another Kenku who works here at the Wandering Emporium. I will see to it that you and your brother are provided with costumes of sort. Take their place, and you will leave with a purchase that they will make at the menagerie. And inside that purchase, and inside that cage, will need to be your friend Lulu. I am told she's very small.
Yeah, she's quite petite.
Excellent. Make sure she's in that cage, and then we will venture out into the wastes, and you will be at the mercies of Mad Maggie. She very much wants this creature, and she can protect you from Mahadi for a
She's
time.
not going to harm Lulu.
Doesn't matter.
To me, it does. Yes.
Well, dear me. You said you'd kill me to escape.
Well, you're not nearly as innocent as Lulu.
I I find that's overrated, personally. Anything with enough experience becomes less innocent. It's simply a matter of math.
You've not encountered her.
No, I've never met her.
She is untouched by this place.
Ugh.
While that may not be appealing or interesting to you, I could not in good conscience send her away to a fate that would cause her harm.
What? It's your way out.
There has to be another way out.
Well, oh goodness. I'm quite perplexed. Well, it's possible I could find another way for you and your brother to escape, but it might not be within the allocated time. We're taking an awful risk.
Can I have some time to talk about it with Artie?
Well, it's 2 days.
DM, is there a way that I could somehow orchestrate a meeting between myself and Artem within that time period?
Is there something I can do for you?
If you could bring me to my brother or bring him to me, I'd be much obliged.
I'm not really sure that I'm allowed into the areas that your brother is working, but I could definitely get a message to him. What you think?
Tell him to meet me at... Is it Bernadette? Bernie?
Who?
Just tell him to meet me at Bernie's.
Bernie's.
He'll know what it means.
Oh, very well. 2 days.
2 days.
Well, I suppose I'm going to be here for a while. Say it again.
Rius? I was gonna write it down and then my light went out.
Gallinarius.
Gallinarius.
Oh, thank you. It was perfect. Say it again.
Prius Gallinarius.
Oh, that feels amazing. Oh, well, you wanted to know more about how I came to be here.
Yes,
I mean, we're practically family now.
Sure.
Maybe even more. Funny thing about names. We're connected. Forever.
Oh, just like family.
Just like family. And he continues to tell you his story, which I'll write down at some point.
And I'll write down his name once I'm not afraid my light's gonna go off.
Right.
Sorry.
Chatting it to you now.
So,
Thank you.
after he is done with you, done taking up your time, so that Ragadaga is frustrated yet again, he opens the door and you hear from somewhere else in the building just the rage of this werebore. He's just absolutely livid that he cannot see you, but because of Mahadi's protection and also because of the rules, he's not able to do anything. And invariably, whenever this has happened in the past, it ends with him causing violence, at which point he is immediately kicked out. So, Smiler makes his way over to the Emporium. And eventually, you are summoned, Artem. You have just exited the tempo room, and you are 30 years older.
Oh.
What do you look like?
His face is sunken. He's definitely a little bit more gaunt. His hair has gone from jet black to, I would say salt and pepper, but it's definitely more salt than pepper. It's silvery with tiny flecks of the original black in there. His tail is droopy. It's harder for him to lift it up. He had a pretty like lithe frame, but he appears emaciated. But in his face, there is a joy that 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 hasn't been seen for quite some time.
All right. So as you stepped out of the tempo room, while you were in the tempo room, you were yourself. Although you could feel this pressure building and building and building. And as soon as you stepped out of it, it came all at once, and you immediately just felt pain in every joint. Your muscles shrank. Some of your teeth fell out. And this is you at 49?
He's probably like closer to like 55.
55.
How old are we, Zelly? Good.
All
We're that old. He's 30 years older.
Grigas is there. He says,
Alright.
somebody in the magic shop. I don't really know. I mean, I know them to tell them not to touch anything. And I usually say wait until Agamemnon comes back, but they're not leaving. I could make them leave, but they asked for you by name. I thought maybe you could make them leave without us resorting to violence. It looks bad if
Sure.
that happens.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
I'll go down.
Are you all right? You
Oh,
look a
yeah.
little different.
Just tired. Just tired.
You must be really tired.
Really tired.
Tieflings. You come up into the room and you see Smiley the Filer, who turns around and says, "Ah! Well, you look horrid."
I feel great, though.
Well, I guess that's what's important. Your sister has a message for you.
Oh, is it Boop?
I beg your pardon?
Forget it. What's the message?
It's... She wants you to meet her at Bernie's?
Oh, interesting. Thank you.
Who's Bernie?
Oh, it's just a childhood joke. Smiler,
Hmm.
you've taken a fascination with my sister, haven't you?
Well, a bit. Yes. No. She's complicated.
She is very complicated. Some unsolicited advice, eh? I know Zelmyra better than I know myself. If you actually value her, you're gonna have to connect to the goodness inside of you.
No, well, that's not going to happen. And, I mean, there's many other ways to connect to somebody other than that.
Artem just shakes his head gently and smiles.
It was good to see you, Smiler.
Was it?
Yeah.
How odd. And he walks out of the magic shop.
I'm gonna head to Bernie's.
All right. Okay. Before long, Zelmyra arrives. And Bernie is by her chair, not looking at you all.
So, Zelmyra, before seeing, before Artie gets into Bernie's, will kind of, I am imagining that she approaches from behind and
Okay.
thinks that maybe he looks a little bit downtrodden, just, a little more exhausted. And so she uses her tail, she goes around the corner and uses her tail to poke him on the shoulder to get his attention.
He very weakly turns around and you see him aged 30 years.
Zelmyra lets out an audible gasp.
Hey,
Come here. Come here. What happened to you?
I did something, Zelly.
What did you do?
I did something important.
I don't understand. She's running her hands over his face, her fingers, like feeling the crevices now of the wrinkles.
Take a good look. This is going to be you in a while. But hopefully a long, long while.
How do you feel?
I feel tired.
You
But
look exhausted.
It's going to be okay, Zelly. Oh, I made you something.
And he produces the amulet of health.
This is what Mahadi wanted me to make for him. I couldn't.
Tell me you made him one.
No.
What is he gonna do when he finds out?
Well,
Finds out what?
Who's that?
This is Mahadi. I had a very interesting conversation with an old friend earlier. He told me that he spoke with a tiefling, male, inside my most private of chambers. How is that possible? I wonder. And you become aware of figures appearing around, in front, and behind Mahadi. If you would be so kind as to come with me.
Zelmyra places herself between Mahadi and her brother.
Oh, you are invited too, my dear. I've had enough games from the both of you.
She offers her
Very
hand
precious has been stolen from me.
to Artem.
My privacy. And I will have restitution.
She takes Artem's hand in hers.
Artem is looking. He's looking a lot less concerned than you think he would in a situation like this. But he walks and he is clutching your hand weakly, but he is holding your hand.
As you are walking by, Bernie turns away from the back of the tent that she's looking at, and she turns and her eyes meet yours and they glow with a very strong bronze. Just she looks at your waist.
I am going to try to make a sleight of hand check and drop the blind at her feet.
She's too far away, but you are actually very close to Dawn's tent.
I will drop it there.
And as you're walking by Dawn, you see all of Dawn's plants have died.
Oh.
And she's sitting there dejectedly, looking just absolutely defeated. But go ahead and make your sleight of hand check.
Okay. Oh, 17 plus 3, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Let me look at a couple of things.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Don't like that.
Well, a 20 is enough. So it falls to the ground near Dawn, the halfling. And nobody seems to notice.
I will keep walking.
Does Zelmyra notice?
What's your passive perception?
I don't think it's that
It's
high.
not a 20.
Yeah.
I was like, none
Very
of
few
my...
things. You've got to be quite powerful to have a passive perception of 20.
Yeah, it's my highest character of the characters that I have. It's only a 13.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, you did not notice. Well done. You are being flanked by almost like shadows that are wearing armor. They have a helmet that is very prominent and shoulder pauldrons that are very prominent and capes. And they are each carrying great swords at the ready. There are 8 of them. Mahadi making the 9th. and they lead you into the Infernal Rapture. But this time, as you step in, instead of going into the familiar space, you are in a dark room with a single light in the middle of it shining down. And Mahadi is facing you. You can sense the presence of dark power around you. How?
It was an accident.
Make a deception check.
11.
His eyes narrow. You are lying. I will ask one more time before you see your sister's head upon the floor. How did you find my inner sanctum?
I didn't
As
mean...
he's saying this, memory of the blindfold begins to leave your mind.
I wandered in. I don't remember how.
His hand reaches out very fast. He grabs your chin and he brings you towards you. Gods and their tricks. Pushes you back.
Zelmyra runs to him.
Looking a little worse for the wear, Artem.
I've been making something for you, Mahadi.
Where is it?
Oh, you'll find it. I promise.
Regrettably, I find myself in a position that warrants administering punishment. But I'm not an unreasonable man. Zelmyra, you're extremely valuable to me. I offer you the opportunity to save your brother from my wrath.
Yes.
Really?
Whatever it is, yes.
Sally.
No.
Sally, look at me.
Stop.
What kind of life do I have left here?
She continues to look straight forward at Mahadi. Yes.
No. Mahadi. She's more valuable to you than I am. I'll give you my life in exchange for hers.
Stop. I've made my decision.
No.
We're no longer talking about lives, Artem. You've seen what becomes of those who wrong me.
Okay.
My decisions. Whatever I ask from you, Zelmyra, or your brother as a permanent addition to my collection.
No. Just me.
I'm not a greedy man by nature. I will take one. But I will leave it to you two to decide. Please. He steps back, and as he does, a cushion appears and he sits down, and his hookah appears as well, and he puts it in his side and says, take all the time you need deciding. your brother's soul or your complete obedience, Zelmyra? And then he turns to you, Artem. Your soul or your sister's complete obedience, Artem? Which will it be? I am very excited to find out.
Zelly. Do you trust me?
You know I trust you more than anyone.
You have to let me go, Zelly. It's my time.
Your soul can't stay here. You don't deserve to stay here. Go back. Be free, go find Jexter, live a life.
Artem puts his hand on your face and he looks at you very intently.
I don't believe we were here by accident. I can't believe that, Zelly. Jexter and Belitis, Cordelia, Sekhmet, Shane. We were conduits to bring you here to do something important. Look at me, Zelly. You were meant to do something important here.
Then let me stay.
I was only meant to be your brother.
That's not true.
I did my job. You have to go do yours. I love you so much, Zelmyra.
I love you too, please don't.
Everything I've done in my life, I've done because you believed in me, because you supported me. I've had such a good life because I got to share it with you.
You can't stay here. Your soul can't stay here. You deserve so much more than this place.
Zelly, trust me. Oh, I almost forgot. I've been meaning to tell you a secret, but I had to wait for a time when I knew you wouldn't get mad at me. I guess that's now, huh? When we were 7, Mom actually pulled me aside and told me that I was born first, but she made me keep it a secret because she knew how much it would bother you for the rest of your life.
And he breaks into a huge smile. And he looks at Mahadi and he says,
I'm ready.
No.
Make a persuasion check, Artem.
16 plus 1.
There is, of course, a problem. How will I ever have the full obedience of your sister if I have your soul locked away? Would that perhaps be enough? He turns to you. I will not make you stay past the 100 days that we agreed upon. But perhaps you might wish to stay longer.
In exchange for what?
Nothing.
So you would take Artem and me.
I will offer you the opportunity to perhaps speak with him upon occasion.
Yes.
Wonderful. a sword pierces you from behind, Artem.
No.
Artem's eyes grimace. He grimaces in his face, but and his eyes go big. But he's smiling. And you see his tail slowly lift and come around in an arc over his shoulder and hover in front of your face for a moment. But before it can connect to your nose, it falls limp at his side, and he's gone.
And you see Mahadi hold out a small crystal, and a misty form rises from Artem's body and enters it, and it glows briefly and then goes dark. And as you're watching that, you see Homuncule Jade detach from Artem's shoulder and sort of wobble through the air, goes over to Artem's tail and brings it up shakily into the air, touches it to your nose, and then the light in Homuncule Jade's eyes goes dim and it falls, clatters to the ground. And as it does, there is a small jade heart inside it. Clatters to the ground.
Zelmyra is just in a heap on the ground. She grabs Homuncule Jade and the jade heart and just clutches it into herself as she falls over into the fetal position and just cries, with one hand clutching Artem's.
And that is the end of Descendants of Avernus. When next we meet Zelmyra, it will be months from now. Years from now, actually. When she has become very accustomed to the routine of working for Mahadi. An occasional brief looks in on the soul of her brother. Always supervised. As she plots her revenge. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. And we will be resuming our regular scheduled program, Descent into Avernus, on June the 7th.